Hello, I'm Jeff Jedras for Computer Dealer News, joined today in Toronto by Andy Ingram from Juniper Networks. Andy, we're seeing a lot of talk today about cloud computing and some of the security concerns that customers are expressing about moving their data into the cloud. What are you seeing in terms of trends around what kinds of cloud models customers have an interest in, and the nature of some of their concerns about security?
So when you think about clouds, there's sort of two different things going on at the same time. One is just the basic resource pooling, trying to get greater efficient use of those resources. And that could be in a private cloud inside of a corporation, an enterprise, or it could be a public cloud, moving, sort of bursting out to do a hybrid type of environment. And you see both things happening. And then the broader issue then is then the outsourcing, going outside to get the compute resources, either as a software as a service or platform as a service. So let's take those two trends and sort of think about them for a moment separately. On the pooling of resources, this is a trend that we've been doing for some time. Now when we have virtualized servers, it's easier to be able to share those resources. Why are they doing that? Because it's really trying to get greater efficiency, higher utilization of their server and storage resources, as well as trying to get greater agility or elasticity in the infrastructure to make a more flexible business. Now when you do that, it means you're going to start sharing the infrastructure across multiple applications, departments, user groups, whatever. And so security does become an issue. How do I maintain that traffic separation? It gets more acute then when you sort of think about the second phase, which is now I would think about moving it out to someone else's cloud, because they have bigger scale, they can drive things at a lower cost or provide capabilities that I can't do in-house. That's where it starts to get challenging. Now, almost everybody's using some form of cloud. They may not think of it that way. I mean, most people don't run their own payroll, right? We think about it, payroll like it's something like ADP, it's really a cloud service, and they're moving critical data out there. Every one of their employees, all their addresses, what they get paid, all their social security numbers, all those are being out in the cloud. We have a sort of software that we use for cooperation inside of Juniper. Well, all of our critical information about product roadmaps and so forth is on that, and it's run as a cloud service. So we see a lot of, I think the first phase is that people will start using it as is really software as a service. I'm going outside to do something like Salesforce.com or ADP or so forth. Then there's the platform as a service. It's like Amazon EC2 or some of the other cloud providers and service providers are providing this capability. IBM's doing it, so forth. So then, what kind of things do I move out there? And when I start moving my mission critical applications, am I willing to put my most critical data out there? That's where security becomes an issue. And the thing is, some workloads, it's easy to move out because the data sets are relatively small and flexible and portable. Other ones are harder. So I think that there's a lot of work to be done, and security is one of those key things. Now this happens to be an area that Juniper has expertise in, both helping it do traffic separation within a private cloud, as well as helping create traffic separation within a public cloud, and being able to ensure that customer A's traffic and their data does not commingle with customer B's traffic, right? So with our SRX or with our virtual gateway capability, there's things that we can do. Now, where do the partners come in, the resellers come in with this? They're so key to the delivery of our capabilities, whether it's to a private cloud or to a public cloud. So working with them, with our technologies, with their expertise to being able to make that happen. And we have different architectures that we have developed over time, proven mechanisms that we can help train our partners on so they can deliver greater value to their customers, to our joint customers.
You purchased a company last year called Altor Networks that gave you some increased focus in the cloud and security. How has that impacted the go-to-market so far?
Well, I think the technology is wonderful. It truly augments the capabilities that we already had. So with our firewalls, the SRX products, we have the physical firewall. Now what we bring with the Altor is a couple things actually. One is you get a virtual firewall that I can put that kind of filtering and intrusion detection capability into the hypervisor itself, so I can filter traffic that's staying inside the server. And as I move a workload from one location to another, the policies can move with it because it's all built into the VMware hypervisor. But also the technology, because it's in the hypervisor, gains visibility to what's going on in the virtual world. And so being able to leverage that over time in terms of connecting it to things like QFabric and being able to create an environment that is far more amenable to a highly dynamic, easily provisioned, cloud type of environment, whether that's in a private cloud or a public cloud.
So in terms of overcoming the perception about security in the cloud, I mean, is it a matter of education at this point? Like, is the technology there, and it's a matter of education and a matter of constructing the network and the systems in a secure way?
Well, I think most of the technology is there. I think from the network side, the network security is in place to be able to support this and create the traffic separation that people are looking for. I think there are a couple of issues that need to be overcome. One is, if I'm going to do encryption, then how do I manage the keys? Because the keys want to be local to where the data is, but I want to be able to control the keys separately from the cloud. That's an issue that needs to be worked out. And the second area, I think, is just trust, right? Am I going to trust another provider to keep the family jewels, right? I think that's something that over time, we do trust. I mean, we do send our payroll out to ADP, and we trust them to do that. So I think that's something that people will overcome over time as the providers prove themselves capable of doing this. And at the economies of scale and the cost points and the skill points that they have, being able to offer something that maybe I can't do in-house.
So if you were talking to a channel partner here today, a reseller, they were looking at the cloud, they're hearing about it from their customers, they're looking to get into it, what would be the advice you would give to them? What's the biggest opportunity or the first place they should focus?
Well, the first thing is everything's not going to the cloud overnight. So there's still a wonderful opportunity in our customer base to help them solve these problems. And a lot of the connection points always come back to the user community, which is part of the enterprise, but maybe not physically there anymore. So it's a much more mobile type of environment. So I think with this change, there's a wonderful opportunity to help our customers work through the technology, work through the changes, think about the processes, the programs, as well as the technology and the equipment it takes to produce this. So I think the cloud model is extremely powerful in terms of being able to provide application services to people anywhere they are. So I think the whole mobility of the workforce is creating a wonderful opportunity for wireless, for remote security capability, and so forth. Meanwhile, there's all sorts of changes going on inside the data center. I think the whole network topology is going to change from a tree structure to a flatter type of fabric. I think the security models will become more paramount to be able to create that traffic separation at the right levels, but do it in a virtual way rather than a physical separation. That gives you a lot more agility in the infrastructure. And I think where there's change like this, there's a wonderful opportunity to add value to the customers and therefore to make money. And I think it's a wonderful time to be a reseller as long as you stay on top of the technology.
Of course. Thanks, Andy. For Computer Dealer News, I'm Jeff Jedras.